Hi, Lloyd. A little slow tonight, isn't it?
I love to dance. I mean, really love it. I'm not good by any means, but when a really good song begins to play, I can't help but go for a walk with some headphones and move. I do it because it feels good, makes me enjoy the music more, and if anything, I find that part of me that often is neglected has a chance to take life. I think that during these walks, I find that the function in which I'm navigating my life in is right. I feel happy when I dance, and I wonder if that means that the I that is happy needs to dance to music in order to exist fully to the essence of whatever the I is. Because when you take away your name, your occupation, your desires, your influence, your mind and body, who's left? Who am I? I think there's a lack of awareness of understanding of who we are, or at least of who I am. At times, I feel that we are totally and completely locked into a physical, digital world that we let control and identify us without even knowing the us that is being influenced to begin with. Who am I? Am I the college student, tired and bored of seminars and lectures and discussions that teach on subjects I'm vaguely satisfied by, only because they bring an ounce of interest to me intellectually? Maybe I'm a reader or a writer, a video editor. Maybe I'm just all these things. But really, no, because these are all physical. So who exactly am I? What are the essential and accidental properties of the ship of Theseus that make up the identity of me? I could reference the inspiration for this video, a conversation with Bob Proctor about success and fulfillment, but much like he explains, finding yourself is just a process of greater awareness. And much like in a Machiavellian sense, getting to know yourself by any means is all that matters in that process. I'm a big believer that everyone is selfish. I'm not quite sure if this is an argument of nature or nurture or both, but I am aware that both in the good and the bad, and in some ways the ugly, we act selfishly for the betterment of ourselves and or others. But the reason I bring up selfishness is because I think being selfish is the best way to find out who you are. If this is a process of discovering you, what better person to be with, engage with, commit with than yourself? The relationship you have with yourself is probably the most important relationship you'll ever have. So why not do an almost violent thing and love yourself by damning yourself to the torment of true internal self-discovery? I say torment or torture mainly because a hint of Zizek's phenomenology screams inside my head about the pointlessness of individuation and Carl Jung's discover the real you psychoanalytical philosophy. But I also ascribe it with those terms of suffering because I think, much like life, most of what you need and what you learn comes from forms of pain, suffering, discipline, and other hardening mechanisms that must be faced in order to be stronger and better. This perspective is best communicated by the work of Soren Kierkegaard and his systems of understanding the self as a constant state of becoming, which one could argue is a typical ancient Greek Western philosophy of one's being to becoming analysis of the self. But to be fair, Kierkegaard's systems are based on his deep interest in the human experience of anxiety, which he saw as a fundamental aspect of existence. For Kierkegaard, anxiety arises from the awareness of freedom and the burden of choice. The very act of making choices and defining oneself to him is an anxious process, but it's also what makes us human. I relate to the association of anxiety as part of what makes us human, similar to how I view the action to philosophize as part of what makes us human, an inherent curiosity of more than what matters and who we are. As much as all these points are interesting, there still has not been an answer to the question, who the fuck am I? I should also add the usage of the word fuck comes from the same anxiousness and severity of desiring to know that Kierkegaard elaborates on. As part of the human experience, I think it's important to illustrate how badly people should feel about questioning who they are. If not, if we just stay in a constant state of ambiguity, meaninglessness, if you will, then really, in actuality, what is the point? What is the reason for existing in the nothing and the emptiness of a lack of identity? Instead of arguing the point that this is all just a human experience, why not first explain what the human part is, which inevitably leads to the contextual individual, the self, you, me, us. What is that? We shouldn't just start assigning things as processes that occur or experiences without knowing what they are influencing to begin with. Because otherwise we're going to get things wrong, and wrong is bad, and bad is bad, which is definitely not good. So then how can I answer the question, who am I? If anything, this question invites a call to challenge, that the question I pose suggests that there's an essence to who a person is. And is there such a thing? I think every moment, not second, not minute, not hour or day, but every moment we die, and you're someone new in such minor and at times major ways. And with that in mind, maybe there is no essence, just periods of names and definitions. At one point, you are who you are then, you are who you will be, and you are who you are now. And those come with their very own labels and definitions of you, but possibly never hold any essence of you. When we think of identity, we think of our desires, our values, but those in many ways are external to our being. And instead of disregarding them as purely external and with no relation to who we might be, Rick Rubin argues that we are purely external. That to be a creative is to be childlike, allowing the influence of the world gauged by the antenna of perception to affect the innocence of one's comprehension of everything. That we are influenced by everything and therefore we are a part of everything. I'm not sure if everything is external or everything is internal. I don't think everything is simple to divide and understand. However, I feel that in knowing, or at least actively attempting to know who we are, we get closer. The first step to anything is thinking about it.